Hi, I'm David with EdgeStar Technical Support. Here with me we have the TBC50S, our mini kegerator. Today we're going to show you how to use a non-pressurized keg. We're going to show you how to set it up, how to make it work, and to show you how to clean the wines after we're done. The first thing that we're going to cover is the optional accessory kit. This kit's available for purchase through the retailer. It's not something that comes with your new kegerator. In this box you'll find your CO2 regulator, 3 CO2 cartridges, your 16-gram CO2 adapter, your CO2 holder, the non-pressurized tap, your CO2 releaser, your cleaning kit, and you've got some rubber sealing rings. I'll show you how those work in just a moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up this box. I'll show you each component. We're going to start with your stand. This holds the entire assembly. You have your cleaning bottle. You have your non-pressurized tap. This is your CO2 holder. This is your CO2 piercing valve. That's what pierces your CO2 cartridge and makes the gas available to the rest of the system. This is your regulator for the CO2. Here we have your 2 rubber sealing rings and your CO2 releaser. You're only going to use one of these. The other orange one is a spare. You have a 3-pack of cartridges here to start with. These are available just about anywhere. Please make sure that you do not use the ones that are marked for paintball. They have oil in them. They're not suitable for use with this. Last but not least, we have 2 rubber lines here. The clear rubber line is for the gas delivery. The opaque rubber line is for beer delivery. Our next step is to install the beer line. One end of this line comes pre-assembled with this ferrule, as you can see here. We need to be able to thread this line through the wall in the kegerator. To do this, we need to remove this part. We're going to unscrew this top section, and we're going to just slide it down to the end for now. And then we're going to take this piece and your hose, we're going to separate them. The ring that you pushed back, we need to take off the end of the line, just like so. You're left with these 2 pieces. Don't lose them. Our next step is to push this line through the kegerator wall and into the kegerator storage compartment. To do that, you have 2 holes. I prefer to use the one on the left. We're going to insert the line through. And you'll feel it come out the other side. When you do that, you're just going to pull your excess through until it stops. Be gentle. Now that we've got our line out and we're freed and we're through the wall, we're going to get our compression nut. This is called a compression nut. We're going to slide that back onto the line. We're going to take this part, we're going to connect it here. You use the short end of it. You're going to squeeze it over the end of the line. And sometimes this can be a little tough. We're going to push it down until it seats fully. And then you're going to thread your compression nut back on. Make sure that when you thread your compression nut back on that you do not cross thread it. They're plastic. And if you do that, you ruin the wine. Now we're done with that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back here where we started. We're going to feed the line back through. And then what we're going to do is we're going to insert this into the dispenser head, this short section here. You don't need to take this apart. What we're going to do is we're going to insert it back through the hole in the dispenser head. We're going to open up the dispenser like you would pour a beer. We're going to push that line through until it stops. You're going to release the handle, and then you can come back over and pull your excess back through, and that completes the install on your beer line. Now we're going to install our CO2 gas line. To do that, we're going to take it and insert it through the second hole in the sidewall on the kegerator. We're just going to push it through until it comes out the other side. Now we're ready to assemble the rest of our non-pressurized kit. First thing we're going to do is locate our base, and then your CO2 cartridge holder. As you can see here, it's just this one piece. Now we're going to pick up your CO2 cartridge. We're going to drop it in, round in towards the bottom. We're going to set that aside. Now we're going to pick up your CO2 piercer, the regulator. We're going to screw these together. This side has a smaller thread than this side does. The smaller thread goes into the regulator and screws in place, just like this. We're going to give this a good twist, make sure it's snug. Now we're ready to install our CO2 cartridge. Before we do that, we're going to look at the top of this regulator. The top of the regulator has a knob for adjustment for pressure. You have a positive for maximum, negative for minimum. Before we hook up the CO2 cartridge, we're going to make sure that this is all the way to the minimum side and that it's tight. You don't want to over tighten it, you'll break the plastic knob. Just make sure it's off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to connect this. You need to be mindful of your threads, and you're going to thread this on just like that. Once you're done, we're ready to pierce the cartridge. This gauge only shows line pressure. It does not show what's in this cartridge. You'll know it when you run out of gas because your beer will become flat. You're then ready to change the cartridge. Now, once we've done that, we're not quite ready to pierce it yet, but we will be in a minute. We're going to set that aside. We're going to grab our non-pressurized tap and our rubber sealing ring. You can lubricate this stem with a little bit of water to help ease the installation on your rubber ring. Don't use anything else. You're going to insert it onto the end. This wide end is going to face towards the bottom of the tap, and this is the top of your tap. We'll talk about that in a second. You're going to push this all the way up until it bottoms out and won't go any further. This part seals your beer keg. This is all in your beer. You'll never see it. On this part, we have our connections. There's an arrow. The arrow indicates which way the gas and beer flow. Gas goes in, beer comes out. Now we're ready to arm the system. We're going to pressurize the regulator. We're going to give this a good twist, just like that. Now we've got pressure in the system. Make sure your handle is off. We're ready to set it up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to connect our gas line. We're going to push this in. You'll feel some resistance. You're going to push it in just a tad more to lock it in place, and that's it. Now we're going to set the whole assembly in the base, just like that. And we're going to set this whole thing inside the cabinet. What we're going to have to do here is we're going to have to pull out a little bit of the gas line so we can take the slack out of it. And you're going to turn everything around until the gauge fits in the window. Just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up our keg. On the top of your keg is a seal. It needs to be removed. You also need to depressurize the keg. When you remove the seal, it will depressurize itself. There's specific directions for each keg of beer. You need to follow the directions on the keg. Now we're ready to depressurize. And then you're going to pull straight up. And this gets thrown away. You can't reuse it. Now we've tapped our keg, as you can see here. What you're going to do is you're going to drive the stem of this non-pressurized tap all the way down inside the beer keg until it stops. You're going to use a little bit of force, and you're going to hook this end over this ridge in the can. You're going to come over on this side. You're going to put some pressure on it so it locks. You may have to use both hands to do it. You're going to release this spring-loaded clamp, push it all the way down past this rim, and let it go and make sure it's locked in place. Now we're ready to hook up our lines. First thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up our liquid line. That clicks in like that. Now we're going to hook up our pressurized line for our gas. You may have to turn the keg a little bit. And we're going to hook that in. Now we're ready to put the keg inside the kegerator. To do that, we're just going to set it inside until it stops. And it's okay if you have some wine here, that shouldn't bother it any. And we close the door. Now we're going to come back over to this side. We need to release the gas to the rest of the system. And then we're just going to open up our regulator valve. You may have to have two hands to do this. Now you could set the pressurization, as long as you're in this green zone, you're probably okay. Some beers, you may find that pressure works better a little bit higher. For this one, we're going to start at about 50% on the green zone. Now we're ready to close the compartment, and you can enjoy your beer. After every keg, you're going to want to clean your beer lines. To do this, we're going to get your cleaning bottle. We're going to fill it to this line with cleaning solution. Next, we're going to go over to the regulator and make sure your gas is turned off. Then we're going to unclamp the tap from the top of your keg. We're going to remove the orange rubber ring. We're going to insert this entire assembly into the top of the cleaning bottle. We're going to come back over to the regulator and turn our gas on. You're going to put a cup under your dispenser, pull your handle down to flush the lines. Once the lines run clear, you're going to disconnect this, install your new keg, and you have another full keg of beer to enjoy. I hope this DIY video has been helpful to you in setting up your Kegerator. If you have additional questions, please contact us at www.edgestar.com. Hi, I'm David with EdgeStar Technical Support. Here with me we have the TBC50S, our mini Kegerator. Today we're going to show you how to use a non-pressurized keg. We're going to show you how to set it up, how to make it work, and to show you how to clean the lines after we're done. The first thing that we're going to cover is the optional accessory kit. This kit's available for purchase through the retailer. It's not something that comes with your new Kegerator. In this box you'll find your CO2 regulator, 3 CO2 cartridges, your 16-gram CO2 adapter, your CO2 holder, the non-pressurized tap, your CO2 releaser, your cleaning kit, and you've got some rubber sealing rings. I'll show you how those work in just a moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up this box. I'll show you each component. We're going to start with your stand. This holds the entire assembly. You have your cleaning bottle. You have your non-pressurized tap. This is your CO2 holder. This is your CO2 piercing valve. That's what pierces your CO2 cartridge.